Hi, everybody. It's Craig and Arun back with your NBA Tuesday, the 23rd of December. Yeah, just one more day to Christmas Eve, 2 more days to Christmas, and we're going to pay off those bills. Had a nice day yesterday. Both of us hit our top plays yesterday. I am now 6-1 with my top plays the last 8 days, 9 days, actually, 8 or 9. But we have another top play tonight. Mine's going to be in NHL. I see one again with the NBA last night. I had the Hornets. Nice little get right at the end on that one. So, hey, we like that. And today he has a top play in the NBA as well. Promo code right here, 15% off. New promo code for this week. It's good all the way through next Monday. Frosty15. So instead of $30 over there, you use this, get the 15% off of that. If you want the week pass instead of $99, same thing. If you want my play, it's going to be in the NHL today. You got a top play in the NHL. I usually only have one NHL top play of the week. It goes here on Tuesday. We finish up before they're off for like 4 or 5 days. So it's a good day to finish up in the NHL. All right, let's go to it. The NBA tonight, 14 games on the slate tonight. So I like these big cards. It gives us lots of opportunities to give you lots of tidbits on these games. We're going to go a little faster than normal because we hear you, that you don't like when we do 30-minute podcast, video podcast, that is. Brooklyn Nets at the Philadelphia 76ers. Sixers minus 9.5, total 218. What do you like in this one?
The Nets, I think, are playing really well. They're 8-19 coming in. I've ridden the Nets a couple times. They lost to the Sixers 115-103 last time. The Nets come off a nice win against Toronto. As a +4 dog, they also covered against Miami. They covered against Milwaukee. It's a big line here. Philadelphia, of course, beat Dallas and New York. The question is, why is Philly favored by so much? Maybe the public will just buy that. Look, the Nets have revenge. They're playing really well. I understand they come off a big win against Toronto. Philly comes off back-to-back big wins, but they have Chicago on deck as well. And I'm going to take the 9.5. I could be a sucker here, but I'm going to take the 9.5 and not be scared. All right, Craig, Washington plus 5.5-point dog here against Charlotte. Washington, by the way, is 5-22. They lost to Charlotte 139-113 this year. I've always believed in the 5.5 line. Who do you like here, Craig?
Well, Charlotte, you had them yesterday. Nice cover in Cleveland. That's 3 of the last 4 they've covered. Now, granted, they haven't won the last 2 games, and now they got to win tonight. Not only win, but cover by 5.5. And Washington had a day off yesterday, so they've been here waiting for this team. And you mentioned it earlier in the year, 139-113. That is a beatdown and this is a huge revenge spot in a rest advantage. Give me Washington plus 5.5. The Charlotte's a team that I think we both have played a lot as underdogs. But when you're playing them as favorites, it's a little different because you're talking about a team that's sub 500. So when you're even against a bad team like Washington, I think that's just too much. Give me Washington plus 5.5. Next game, we've got the Raptors at the Heat. Heat favored by 5.5, total 220.5. Both of these teams have been struggling. I mean, about 3 weeks ago, we thought, oh, man, these teams could be 2 of the top teams in the East. Well, not the case as of late. 3-7 the last 10 games for Toronto straight up, and 2-8 last 10 games for the Heat. What do you like in this one?
Well, Toronto won 106-96 back on December the 15th. And, Miami has that little bit of revenge here, but Toronto lost badly, 81-96. So you have to think they're going to play better. They only put up 81 points in their last game. They lost to Boston 96-112. Both these teams are 17-13 and then 15-14. They're still above 500. Miami comes off a contest where they lost to New York 125-132. They played back-to-back overs. They didn't have a great road trip. They lost 2 of 3 on this road trip. They've also lost 8 of their last 10 games in just a dismal showing of late. I think what I like here, Craig, is, and I was curious about the total right off the bat. It was at 220.5, and it kind of made sense. I'm going to take the over here. And normally I don't like to give totals, but you get a Toronto team that only put up 81 points in their last game against Brooklyn, a team that shot 28% from three-point land, a team that shot 8 free throws, which is terrible. And then it was a contest where they put up 16 points in the fourth quarter. And then you got a Miami team with revenge, and then you got a Miami team coming in losing back-to-back games. Both these teams are going to be super motivated. I'm going to take the over 220.5 as I have it tonight. All right, Craig, you have the Milwaukee Bucks here, favored by 1.5 over the Indiana Pacers. Interesting. The Bucks already beat them 117-115 earlier this year. If you look at the injury status, Giannis is still listed as out. Prince is listed as out as well. Well, who do you like here?
Yeah, I mean, Indiana, they're not the deepest team now with all the injuries they have. And now they, of course, they have to play in a back-to-back against a team that has a big rest advantage. So it is the great equalizer in the NBA. At this point of the season, when teams have to travel and play back-to-back and the other team's rested, I mean, it's like throw the records out the window. It just, you get some wacky things. So I think in these situations, it's a little safer sometimes to play the total. I think that's the case in this one. You see 220 and you think, oh man, this is the new NBA. That's like super low. Well, this is a Milwaukee's team that has scored 100, 105, and 82 in their last 3 games. That is not the same without Giannis. And Indiana on a back-to-back, I think they only scored 95 last time out last night. So I think this screams under 220 and a half. No problem. Give me the under. Don't forget to like and subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on all the great content we have here at Doc Sports. Next game, Chicago Bulls at the Atlanta Hawks. And we've talked a lot about it. Both two teams that had their superstar point guards coming back. We saw, of course, Trae Young coming back for Atlanta, and then we saw coming back for Memphis. And it's had teams that were playing pretty well as they were gone, and just hasn't been the same since they come back. So we'll see what happens in this matchup. I think that'll be the key, how this affects Atlanta. Atlanta's favored by 4 total, 254.5. What a total we see here. What do you like?
Bulls team that beat them 152 to 150 on December 21st, and they beat you 128 to 123. I mean, they've beaten them twice now. All right, and they beat Cleveland in back-to-back games too. So if you beat Cleveland on December 17th and December 19th, why can't you beat the Hawks on December 21st and December 23rd? So I mean, when you look at it that way, this team, the Bulls are 13 and 15. My Hawks are 15 and 15. Atlanta, I'm telling you, they just don't play as well with Trae Young. And I'll give you a classic example. You have Daniels here who was balling out, but as soon as Trae came back, he had 8 points in his last game. And Dyson just kind of went, kind of into the background. Prior to that, he had 27, 18, and 12 and 15. Now he just has 8. These guys just kind of take a step back and just watch Trae play, which is not good for basketball, at least the flow of the basketball. So that's not as good. Now, Atlanta comes in having lost 3 straight. They really need to win this game. Chicago comes in here, winning 4 of their last 5. I think this game, in the last game, went at 302 points. I think this game probably goes over. I know it sounds crazy, but Chicago had 9 guys in double digits last game. Collins, Dosunmu, Herder, Jones, White, Giddey, Okoro, Buzelis, and Vujovic. So this team really shares the ball well. And I'm just going to bite the Bulls. I'm going to take the Bulls again plus the 4. I mean, you just got to. They just got too much depth. They've already beaten the Cavs twice. I got to go against my Hawks here. And I think it makes sense. They've got twice as many guys who can score in double digits. And they've already beaten the Cavs in the same situation. And I don't think they really care. When you got 10 guys that are willing, or 9 guys that are willing to score double digits, you just keep coming. You just keep coming, and I think they're just going to keep coming. And I'm going to take the Bulls plus the 4. All right, Craig, the Pelicans are a 9.5-point dog here, 8-22 against a 16-14 Cavs team. These two teams have not met this year. The Pelicans are, they are 8-22. What if I told you they're 5-0 over the last 5 games? That's pretty significant when you've won 65% of your games recently. What do you like here, Craig?
This is one of those hidden schedule things that if you're not paying attention, you can overlook. Here's the key. They're both in a back-to-back, yes. Cleveland is in the back-to-back playing at home, so there's no travel involved there, so you kind of give them the little, maybe a little extra. But here's the key. Christmas Day, Cleveland plays at the New York Knicks, and it's an early game. It's a big game. Everybody wants to play on Christmas Day and play well. I think this is a huge distraction for a Cleveland team that hasn't been playing well, and that hey, we could just get this win, but we got to win against Cleveland at Cleveland on Christmas Day in front of everybody. And I think they're looking past this. New Orleans playing good, like you said. I like New Orleans plus the points. I think you sprinkle on the money line. I think they can win this game outright with the distraction that is that Christmas Day coming up for Cleveland. Next game, the Knicks, a.k.a. Knicks, that's going to be playing on Christmas Day as well. They face Minnesota here, favored by 6. Total of 226, and Minnesota as well will be playing Christmas Day. They play at Denver. So both these teams could be, I know they have a day off, but it's Christmas Eve, and they got to, get ready to play. What do you like in this matchup?
So 21-6, 19-10 teams hooking up here. New York won 137 to 114 last game. That was on November the 5th, about a month ago. The question is, can Minnesota get some revenge here? Karl-Anthony Towns returning back to his old stomping grounds. Brunson is out. Anunoby is out. McBride is out. Shamit's out. Yabusele is out. Minnesota, Ingles, and McDaniels are probably out. So having said all of that, New York comes off of a nice win against Miami, 132 to 125. They covered that game. New York's been great. They won the NBA Cup. They're 21-8. Obviously, you have a coach here for the Knicks in Mike Brown, who seems to have this team playing well. and you got to give them credit for that. Towns, Anunoby, Hart, Bridges, Brunson, Robinson, Kolek, and company are the ones that are getting it done for them. They put up 132 points in their last game. The question here is, can Minnesota, which comes off a nice win against Milwaukee and Oklahoma City, step up? I will tell you that New York, again, they beat them on November the 5th, right? So this is basically a direct revenge game for Minnesota. Minnesota did beat Milwaukee in their last game, but I don't think they played particularly well. They only beat them by 3 points. They didn't cover in that game. It was a contest where they were down 60-48 before they had to come all the way back. They were probably looking ahead to this game. And I'm going to take the Timberwolves here. I'm going to take the -4, I believe, against, minus the 6 against New York. I think they get up for this game. Will it be on my card? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. But I'm going to lean on the Timberwolves for the time being. It could be on my card, but I'm going to lean on them for the time being. All right, Craig, Denver and Dallas here. Denver is a 7.5-point chalk here on the road against Dallas, 21-7 versus 11-19 team. Dallas beat them 131-121. It's one of the rare shocking wins that Dallas has had this year. So who do you like here?
Yeah, both these teams in back-to-back spots. Denver won at home last night against Utah, and then Dallas they lost at New Orleans, and now both traveling. I think you favor Denver in this spot. Denver's a deeper team. Dallas is also, both these teams play on Christmas Day, and with Anthony Davis's injury history, I kind of have a feeling he might be either severely limited minutes tonight or completely out in this game. So I would lean towards, this isn't like a huge play on this one. I just don't think there's a huge edge. No use gambling on something that's not where you don't see an edge. But I do think that will be a key tonight. And also, don't forget, Dallas will be going to Golden State. So the return for Splash Brother again back to Golden State. So that'll be interesting in that game. Don't forget, though, if you want to get in on all of our plays, we got a couple specials for you. Use that 15% off. Right here, use this Frosty 15, get you. IC is going to have a top play in the NBA tonight. I'll have like a 3 or 4 unit play, nothing huge tonight. My top play is going to be in the NHL, so you can get those. Use that instead of $30 for a day pass. You get the 15% off, or the $99 for the week pass for either. You get that % off as well. Okay, let's get back to the NBA in this one. The next game we're looking at here is Oklahoma City. They're playing right now up 4 or 5 points here late in the fourth quarter. They're facing a Spurs team that is rested, didn't play last night. Spurs favored or underdog, total 234.5. Obviously, this is revenge from, remember, the NBA Cup when the Spurs beat them in Vegas. Do you think Oklahoma City has this one circled?
The first thing I checked is, what did San Antonio do last game? And they beat the Wizards 124-113. They didn't cover. I can tell you that Oklahoma City doesn't need a reason to be motivated. You get Oklahoma City with revenge, you get Oklahoma City coming off a loss to Minnesota as well. So they're going to be pissed in both different ways. And typically Oklahoma City covers after they come off a loss, as we know. This team only shot 28% from the field last game. They're going to be super motivated. As far as, I want you to take a look at something else too. Oklahoma City shot 30 free throws last game, and Minnesota shot 47 free throws. Obviously, that made a difference. The free throw differential of 17 made a huge difference there. I think Oklahoma City is going to step up here, and I like the minus the 6.5. Look, we all know that San Antonio is good, and Wembanyama is listed as day-to-day. Oklahoma City has Caruso, Hartenstein, Holmgren, Dieng also out, but it doesn't matter. When this team is motivated, they're very, very good. They still have, Hartenstein might not play, but they still have Jay Williams. They still have Holmgren is listed out too. They still have Shea. They have Dort. They have Mitchell and Wallace. I'm going to take Oklahoma City. It does make me a little queasy that Holmgren is out with the back injury. So that does worry me a little bit, but I'm still going to take Oklahoma City here. How's it? Sign up for our free $60 with the premium selections, which is docsports.com/ICCT. You get free $60 with the premium selections so you can try us out. It's the best way to kind of thank us for all the hard work that we do, along with liking and subscribing and joining on YouTube Premium. All right, Craig, Lakers 5.5-point dog against Phoenix. The first thing you got to know if the Lakers are a dog is who's missing. Doncic is out. Hachimura is out. Reeves is listed as day-to-day, and Vincent is out as well. And then you move over to Phoenix here. Look, Phoenix lost 116-119 to Golden State, which is incredible considering that they just beat Golden State 2 days ago. So they almost beat them in back-to-back games. And, Phoenix has been better than expected this year, 15-13 out of the gates. The Lakers, of course, coming off a bad loss to Clippers, 88-103. That's an ugly loss. There's no doubt about that. That's the one game that Kawhi always shows up in, but he doesn't show up in anything else. The Lakers, of course, coming off 36. LeBron put up 36 points in that game. But it's always a bad news when LaRavia has to put up 12 points. Hayes and LeBron had no help. Doncic had 12 points, and he's out this game. Marcus Smart, Vanderbilt. No wonder they're a 5.5-point dog here. Craig, who do you like here?
Without Reeves, which it looks like he'll be out of this one. Remember, the Lakers play Houston on Christmas Day. So that's going to be a huge matchup. Obviously, everybody in the NBA hopes we have Luka, Reeves, and LeBron to face the, Durant and the Houston Rockets. So maybe we see a little distraction in this one. The Suns do not play on Christmas Day. They don't play again until the day after Christmas. I think you take the Suns in this spot. I just think the Lakers, we saw it last game, when they don't have LeBron doesn't have help. He's just not the same player he was even 2-3 years ago when LeBron could still carry this team at times. He's just not been able to do that last year or even this year so far. When he puts up points, he has to shoot a lot more, which is really not his game. His game is more like Magic Johnson, getting people involved and making plays for other people. I'm going to take the Phoenix Suns -5.5 as the Lakers, I think, play distracted. Next game we got the Memphis Grizzlies at the Utah Jazz. Both of these plays playing last night. Memphis lost to Oklahoma City. We're losing 10 with like a couple of minutes to go. Jazz lost against Denver, and now we see Memphis favored by 2.5, total 244.5. Of course, neither one of these teams play on Christmas Day, so this is the last one for a few days. Who gets the win here?
You have a Jazz team that already beat them 130 to 126, but I continue to be high on Memphis. I think Memphis has been playing really well. I like the fact they lost to Washington 122 to 130 last time, and I like the fact they're about to lose to the Thunder, so they're going to lose back-to-back games. This team beat Minnesota and the Clippers prior to that. They lost to Utah 5 games ago. I don't like the fact that Utah lost 112 to 135 to Denver, or that Utah lost to Orlando and the Lakers and so on, but they are 10-18 here. And, Utah, they're pretty healthy right now, too. They shot 43% from the field last game. And if you take a look at the injuries, they're missing. Memphis is still missing. Obviously, Moran is still out, and Edey is still out, and Utah's missing out Love and Yang. But I'm going to take Memphis here. I think Memphis is going to be fine on the money line, and I like the depth that Memphis has. I'm going to take the Grizzlies. All right, Craig, the Pistons here. 9-point favorite on the road against Sacramento. Of course, Sacramento comes off a rare and exciting win as they beat Houston 125 to 124. They've covered 3 straight now. They covered the other 2 games against the Blazers, even though they didn't win straight up. Detroit, of course, comes off a nice win against Charlotte.
Detroit's playing right now, though. Right, they're up 18 late in the third. FYI.
Yes. So Detroit, not only do they beat Charlotte, they're up right now
against Portland
at this year against Portland. And it's a lot of points, 9-point chalk here. But of course, Sacramento off of a win. They typically don't play well off of a win. Who do you like here?
I really like this Detroit team. I mean, it could easily be. First of all, it's a crime that this Detroit team's not playing on Christmas Day. They were a good team last year. Everybody knew they were going to be a good team this year, but we went for some of the bigger name players and teams. So I hate that they don't get to see that, because that's a big thing for a young team and a young player like Cunningham to be featured. I think Detroit uses as a slight. We saw it last as they're winning big at Portland. I think they win big here at the Kings. I'm not. I know the Kings got a win last time out against Houston. I draw a line through that, because if you go past that, it's one win in the other last 9 games. So give me Detroit Pistons. Like I said, I think they're playing with a little chip on their shoulder as they feel slighted for not being scheduled for Christmas Day. Next game, Orlando Magic at the Portland Trail Blazers. Orlando right now, they're late in this one against Golden State. They're down 4 going in almost into the third quarter. And now they face Portland that lost or is losing big to that Detroit team that we're talking about. They're down 18 late in the third quarter themselves. Orlando's favored by 1.5, total 234.5. What do you like here?
16-12 versus a 12-16 team here. Orlando here winning 115 to 112 last time back on November the 10th. Can Portland get their revenge? That is the question. Orlando, of course, huge win against Utah, 128 to 127. They are up right now. Last time I checked, no, they're down. Right, they're placing the Warriors, and they're
down slightly.
Yeah, they're down slightly, about 4 points. So we'll see how this game shakes out. But regardless how this game shakes out here, I just don't really trust the Magic in general. I know they are. They're having a decent year, but Portland has won 3 straight coming in. But of course, they're getting clobbered right now, which I love. And so, I think what you can, they're getting beat by 20 at home. And prior to that, this team was coming in, beating Sacramento both times, beating Golden State. And don't hold that loss against Portland too much, because, the Pistons were coming into that game. They had just lost to Dallas. They had lost to Dallas on their last road game, which is what motivated them probably to play pretty well now. So I'm gonna take the Blazers here, right? I like the fact they're coming off getting beat up. I think Orlando's gonna have a tight game against Golden State, regardless of what happens here. I like the fact that Orlando also beat this team last time by 3 points back in Florida. I'm gonna take the Blazers. I think the Blazers have plenty of talent still. Between Kamara and Murray and Abdija and Sharp and so on. And I'm going to take the Blazers. It looks like the line is probably going to be plus 1.5. I'm going to take the Blazers plus the 1.5.
Yep.
All right, Craig. Houston minus 7-point chalk here on the road. Houston beat this Clippers team 115 and 113 last time. Houston off of a disappointing loss against Sacramento by 1. They're going to be pissed about that game. Clippers off of a rare win against the Lakers, and they haven't won back-to-back games in ages. Who do you like here?
Yeah, I mean, I think that this Houston team, right, lost 3 of the last 4. It's like, a little chink in their armor, maybe. I mean, they're a huge team. I will say that. Like, the length on this Houston team is going to be good on defense most of the year. But I think three-point shooting is going to be an issue for them. Like, at times when they're not hitting, they're great in the lane, but this is the three-point line that changes games in the NBA, and they don't have the greatest shooters. Now, they face a Clippers team that, like we said, Houston plays the Lakers on Christmas Day. So a little distraction. I'm guessing they're just going to stay here in LA. I'm pretty sure it's at the Staples Center. So you face a Clippers that all these stars, they didn't get an invite to Christmas Day. I think they're going to play inspired basketball like they did against the Lakers. I like the under in this game. I like the Clippers. If you say which I like better, I think I like the Clippers a little better. But I wouldn't talk anybody off either one. I like them both. All right, so that's what we have for today. That's all your 14 games for today. Don't forget, if you want in our top plays, hey, we've got a top play in the NBA tonight. That's IC. Get the 15% off instead of 30. Make it 15% off of that. Frosty 15. If you want my NHL best bet of the week, I have one top play in the NHL every week. It goes tonight. So let's get in on that. Use this code for either one of them. And then don't forget, if you want our football plays, don't forget, use this. You can get in on that. I do have the last play of this week, but not only do you get this one, you get all next week's plays as well. So get in on that. Both me and IC's plays for just $99 at this link. The code will not work on this. It's 15% off because it's already 50% off the regular price. All right, guys, have a great day. See you again tomorrow.